Hello, everyone. This is Adil Rizvi, and I'm here with you today. And I welcome you all in our today's lunch and learn session. We have a very, very special guest today. And before I go down introducing our very special guest, who is also a very good friend of mine, and we have worked on some of the projects before as well. I would like to welcome you all, and at the same time, if you have any feedback, any questions, please feel free to put them through in the chat, whether you're watching it live or whether you're watching a recording. Make sure you share your feedback with us because that's exactly what we are looking for to improve these sessions for you. A quick introduction about myself. So, I'm Adil Rizvi. I'm the property strategist, and I help people create financial legacy through safe and scalable property investing. That is all about me for today. Today's session is more about our expert, who's a renovation expert based in Sydney, and she is our very own Jennifer Mann. Hi, Jen. How are you?
Hello, how you doing, Adil?
I'm very well, thank you, Jen. Thanks for joining us today. And I can see that you are on the road.
Yes, I've just pulled over for our chat today.
Okay, okay. No, thank you very much for finding time for us. And
Oh, you're
today,
welcome.
for all viewers who are tuning in now, it's more about we're talking about how renovations can actually help you improve the value of your existing homes, and they can be your existing properties where you live in or your investment properties. So we'll be sharing some of the quick stories and what you need to look for and what are some of the myths that you need to be aware of and don't need to worry about. And we'll be discussing some of those stories. But before we go into those stories, Jen, I wanted to
Yep.
quickly understand for the benefit of our viewers as well, what made you to become a flooring specialist specifically in the renovation space?
Well, I'm a bit lucky. My first real job was in a flooring store. So I was 18. It was in a wee spot in Adelaide, at Discount City Carpets. But yeah, I've stuck with it for 22 years, and here I am.
Wow, 22 years. So you must be what, working since you were 8 or 9?
I'm sure we can do the math.
I'll let the audience do the maths. Now, but so you
Yeah.
have been into renovation space for like 22 years, and flooring is your gig actually, and
Yes.
that's where you really specialize in. And for our
Yep.
viewers, Jen actually owns her store under the name of Hawkesbury Flooring Extra in Hawkesbury in
Yes.
Sydney Northwest region. And she's pretty active in the region, and I've spoken to some of her clients as well. So they have some really, really nice feedback for her work. So, Jen, you were talking about that pensioner couple and what they went through and
Yeah.
their challenges, what pain they were going through, and how you helped them. Do you want to run through it very quickly for our viewers, please?
Of course, and that's the problem is that sometimes you get the bad advice, which is where I come in because getting the proper advice is really important, especially for pensioners who don't have a lot of money to re-spend on their floor. I think it's important to get it right the first time. So when I went there, their floor actually that was done about a year ago had buckled quite severely, where you actually had to walk up a hill and down the hill of the new flooring that they had laid. And when, with further investigation, I noticed that they were advised to install a floating floor on top of a floating floor, which was a really bad idea because the floating floor underneath buckled, which then caused the floating floor on top to buckle. Now my job is to yeah, it was so devastating for these people because it was a lot of money. So we have to actually get rid of all of the flooring and then start from scratch, which really what they should have done in the first place. It's a very bad idea to put a floor on top of a floor that could buckle. So yeah, so we did all that. They were very very happy, but yeah, it did cost them a bit to do it twice, you know.
And probably they lost a lot of money when they had to do that flooring, which was not actually needed, and they had to get rid of it off as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. The expense of pulling up and disposing two sets of product, like I think the whole project blew out about $10,000 for them. Like I said, when you're retired, that's everything. So it's not great.
Mm. And
Yeah.
I get this question quite a lot, Jen, and I wanted to put it across to you. When people have to do renovations, especially a lot of people, a lot of our clients as well, who buy in the Western Sydney, northwest of Sydney, they're buying existing houses. They have to do some renovations. Does renovation always cost like 100, 200, 300 grand all the time, or is it more like it's a fortune that you have to spend on a property before it's livable? Is it true?
Not necessary. I think if you just get the basics right and stick to the bones, if you have multiple floor coverings, I do recommend that you just change it to one or two. In fact, there should really only be at the most three floor coverings in your house: the wet area, carpet in bedrooms if you want carpet in bedrooms, and then the floor everywhere else. So if you're starting to find 4 or 5 or 6 floors in the one house, that's when you really need to think for value wise to add value to your house. Get rid of all of the flooring and put down something simple to make it holistic and make sense, and also makes it look bigger. It can really do a lot of things for your property when you sell.
And when someone is like trying to do renovations, because renovations may include changing flooring, it may include doing a new kitchen, it may include putting an extra bedroom or changing the doors or painting the house, redoing the blinds and whatnot. So, is there a particular sequence that people should be following, or they can do anything, whatever comes first, and they
Oh,
can just renovate it accordingly?
that's such a good question because you can do it in a way that it actually costs you money and makes it look bad. So we've got to do renovations in a certain sequence. If you come to a flooring person, we will tell you that make us sort of semi last, do the skirting boards after if we're doing floating floors, do the doors after us, but do us before your major fixtures. So if you're putting a wall in or a kitchen in, you want us to do it. You want us to go around those fixtures. You don't want to put anything on top. So there definitely is a way of doing it. We've just got to make sure you talk to a builder or a designer or someone or even a flooring person, making sure that we help you do it the right way. Because if you just do it off like I just had a client last week or the week before, they got all their doors installed and they're beautiful doors, but they're sitting too low. So now we have to actually take everything off, cut everything, and then reinstall it. Had they done it
Wow,
the other way around, could have saved them a bit of money too.
wow, and that would have been a big hassle as well. Like mentally, that would have been
Oh,
stressful for them as well, is it?
yeah. Internal and external doors, like, yeah, a lot of them. So it's definitely worth thinking about how you're planning it.
Beautiful. Yeah, no, definitely. That's a very valid point. You can't just go about doing renovations as to whatever you start first. You probably need to engage the people, and probably flooring is the second last kind of thing that you do in usually around in
Yeah,
renovation, isn't it?
yeah. You just got to see what's involved because I guess it's all custom and everyone needs different things, so it just depends.
Okay. And what usually happens at the last after the flooring is done?
Well, you want to do the skirting boards last. So even if you get your house painted first, the skirting boards, if you're getting them reinstalled back on the flooring, that's the last. Possibly blinds last. I mean, they can go in either way, but the flooring, yeah, usually because what we want to avoid with the new flooring is tradespeople coming in and working on top of your brand new flooring. So if we can avoid that, that's really good because other tradespeople don't necessarily have the protection to put on the floor, and if you're not thinking about it either, things can get damaged. So yeah, you really want to make sure it's the last.
Exactly. So skirting is pretty much put for the last part after the flooring is done. So if you're painting as well, and if you're doing flooring in kitchens and whatnot, make sure your skirting happens after you've done the flooring. So that's a very important tip from Jen. Thank you very much for that. I'm sure that will be
No worries.
beneficial to people who are looking to do renovations. Also, I would like to give out a testimonial for one of the recent clients of ours actually who bought a property recently, and Jen with her team actually helped them do some of those renovations that they helped on the flooring side of things. And I used to think probably flooring would cost huge amounts of money, but essentially it was for a fraction of a cost what they were quoted from somewhere else, and with a very good service. And that same client, because they were selling that particular property, they wanted to buy something else as an investment, and this was a investment they bought like 7 years ago as a unit in Sydney. They wanted to get rid of it, but they wanted to renovate it first. And that's where Jen and the team actually helped them redo the flooring, really improved it for a fraction of a cost as to what they initially planned for, and that increased the value of the property at least by two and a half times. So thank you for that,
Yes.
Jen. Really a very good outcome for our clients because they managed to make good money on their property, sell it, and now they're buying interstate. So thank you for that.
No problem. That's what it's all about. You don't have to spend top dollar to actually get aesthetics that look amazing for sale. So yeah, you really can do it effectively.
Exactly. And talking about top dollar, I think it also comes down to what someone really wants. So if someone comes to you, they say we need this kind of flooring or we want to renovate, we have this kind of a budget. Do you just go about and your team will just start procuring materials and start doing the job, or how do you approach any new request?
Yeah, so when someone comes to me and they, for example, say, I really want a hybrid floor, we'll like pause that thought. Let's have a look at the house. Let's see what the house is telling us. Let's check the levels of the floor. Let's see if that's the most cost effective way of putting a floor on a floor. And if not, would you be open minded of us suggesting something different? Because what we want to do is make sure that it's a cost effective way of doing it rather than just doing anything. And if they still really want a hybrid, for example, then sure, we can do it, but it might be a little bit dearer than the next one.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So it's not about what people think they want. It's a lot of education that goes from your side as well to make them realize that what they really want is something whether it would work for them or not, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So we sort of go through exactly what they want out of their floor and then work out, does that actually reflect what a hybrid is or what a laminate is or vinyl? So we just work that out, work backwards really, and then we come up with a solution. The good thing about artificial floors is that you'll definitely get a product that looks the way you want it to look, because all the manufacturers are competing for the business. So there's all modern looks in every type of flooring, and they all can look really good. They all can look really natural and real, but it just depends on the platform, because essentially artificial products are just a photograph. So they're all very similar. So you won't get a bad looking vinyl. It's not lino, it's vinyl. So yeah, you will definitely get something that you want out of any of those ones. It's just now we got to decide what platform suits your house the best.
And you were talking to me about, I know you're sharing some golden nuggets here, but that example, that scenario of that holiday park at Del Brio in Wiseman's Ferry,
Oh,
what was the story
yeah.
with that? I'm sure our viewers want to hear that story. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it's a bit of a heartbreaking story. It's one of the like the we, as people know, in the Hawkesbury have had a few major floods, and after the first major flood, we got the owners got in touch with us, and they needed a brand new floor throughout most of their units. So we suggested that part, like most of their units, was redone with cement sheeting because it was a timber subfloor, and then we put vinyl on top of it. Now, after the second flood, they came back and got the rest of their all of their units done, and that's because it was so effective. Yes, the glue did break down on a couple of planks, but essentially the floors were intact and they weren't a chuck away kind of product. It was great outcome. I was so happy to hear that they didn't waste their money with their renovation after the first flood. They renovated and then they were able to do more renovations for the and was prepared for the second flood. So it was a really good outcome. I was really happy to be part of that project.
That's great. That sounds really great. And I
Yeah,
think that speaks of the trust they had in your services that they came back to you and got the flooring done
yeah,
again because they were happy from you for the first time as well.
yeah, absolutely. It's really
That's
good.
the that's the key takeaway for me actually. Beau- Beautiful. So Jen, I know you've shared some really amazing insights today around renovations and how they can help in elevating your home and its value as well. What if someone wants to get in touch with you or they're considering renovations? What are your tips for people who are looking at renovations or looking to buy houses which may require renovation? Because the way the budgets are in Sydney now, nothing comes for less than 1.5 million in Northwest region.
Yeah, I
And maybe
know.
even
Look,
7.8 million as a minimum for a 4 bed, 2 bath house on a decent piece of parcel of land.
isn't it crazy the prices? Well, don't stress out too much if you find tiles and you hate the ugly tiles. We can go over the tiles, so that kind of stuff is not a bad. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Um,
So if you're buying
yeah,
a
I
house,
mean, if
you can put flooring on top of it and you don't need to take the tiles out, right?
you don't need to, no. We can go over the top of most floors. Even slate, sometimes it's better for us to actually level a slate floor and go over the top rather than jackhammer up slate floors. So don't worry too much if you've got a floor that you hate and you're worried about the big mess and the noise and the hassle of getting it up. We can definitely do it in a way that suits your whole family, hopefully to the point where you don't even have to move out of the house while we're working on it. We can definitely do that. We can even like troubleshoot other areas. So if you've got height differences, we can actually build stuff up, build heights up to actually eliminate height problems as well, even in carpeted areas. There's so many creative solutions we can come up with to make sure it's an easy process for the client, for sure.
Definitely. I've
Yeah.
seen some of your solutions, so I can vouch for them. There's no doubt about it that you can
Yeah.
come up with very innovative solutions, and I've seen some of them. So that's true. Last but not the least, if someone wants to reach out to you for some renovation advice or some flooring advice, what's the best way to reach you, Jen?
All right, you can email us at Hawkesbury at Flooring Extra with a X, no E in the extra. So just way my name spelled at the bottom there. So Hawkesbury at flooringextra.com.au, or you can give us a call on 0245, hang on, 45049230, I believe. Um, um, yeah, or even like on our so 45049230, and even if you want to drop us a line on our social media on Messenger, or even WhatsApp, we're there all the time.
And I've seen you're pretty active on social media anyway. I've been looking at your videos and posts. So thanks for keeping the community informed and educated about flooring and how they can save money and how they can improve the outlook of their homes, because that's essentially what you help people do, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. That's the whole game, is to make sure that people love their house. The floors cover every part of someone's home, and it's amazing on the difference the floor makes to a house. It can turn it into a home. It has a warmth to it, and it's definitely feels like a brand new house when you put floor in. It's not just like a feature wall done. It's everywhere, and it's really an important part of the renovation. Definitely not to leave to the last minute decision. Definitely should be thought about when you're planning the kitchen, or you're planning the renovation, because it's such an important part.
Exactly. Can't agree more on that. But thank you very much, Jen. What we will also do is that we will share Jen's contact details, her email address, and her office number in the comments as well shortly after this session finishes. So if you want to reach out to Jen or her team for any specific advice, or you just want to understand the pricing, or you just need some kind of guidance, feel free to reach out to her via email address or the contact number, and her team would love to help you out. Thank you very much, Jen. Thanks for your time today, and I'm sure
Thanks
this
for
was a
having
great
me.
conversation.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Jen. I'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.